All right. Well, thank you very much. My name is Pramod Hojalan. I'm also a medical graduate from CRAT, but probably quite many years before him. Well, we're doing the product, the projects that which is the medical device to localize heart cooling. This might be a little bit medical term, but the whole thing about this is like to prevent heart failure, which occur after heart attack. We also work in partnership with CRAT Hospital. They're actually our investor, the first and second round. And the company is in Minnesota, as you can see. But we are planning on building the research capabilities in Thailand right now. So we have a team, we are a small team, it's only 4 of us, but like we are, Minnesota is a medical device town in the United States. So we have people like Cindy, who's like used to be director of Medtronic. And we also have a lot of our partners like that help us with patent or the regulatories and many other things. So this very good ecosystem in Minnesota. And we also have many advisors. These are actually the one that formal, but I also have like many informal advisors. These are from a top medical school, like that's Dr. Bard is from Harvard, but now he's moved to Mount Sinai. We also have Greg Stone, it's not on this picture. We cannot afford them right now, it's too expensive. But anyway, so Kroner is a cardiologist that trained into, in this field. We also have a lot of research collaborators in Thailand from CRAT and Mahidol. And so get into this. So heart attack is a big problem. I don't need to repeat that actually. But the thing is, like, even with the advancement of the treatment, like in the picture on that, they're very far right or left, that we have stent right now. But the thing is, like, as patients live longer, then they actually have, many of them, 1/3 of them later have heart failure. So that's a big problem. The cost in the US is like, the expenditure is more than $200 billion a year. So for us, which will go in, you have questions, but so our business model is very simple. We are disposable device so that we just, by, calculating a business market is easy. So we think that only in the US, the focus market of the massive heart attack is over $1 billion already. So, okay, how does it work? Or why too that, the patient have heart failure afterwards? Like when we open the blocked artery with the stent, the blood flow back to the tissue, it's actually attacks the heart. It's induced inflammation. This is very similar. That's why I put a picture of like the ice with that. Like, when you have a broken bone, right? Your arm doesn't swell right away. It takes like half an hour or so. And what do? We put ice on. But the thing too is that if you put the ice afterward, it doesn't really help. That exactly happened to the heart, probably a different mechanism, but very similar. But the swelling in the heart right now equal death. It's not coming back. So, and that's what we're trying to do. NirvaMed is trying to actually put the ice on the heart, but unfortunately we cannot do that. So what we do is we have the catheter that go into that and then directly to the heart and that. So this is total body cooling, which is our competitor. So they are too slow. We have to do that very fast. So they use more than an hour, and obviously body size is different. So we have a catheter, like I said, going directly to the heart. Our value proposition is that we go faster and deeper. That's for good protections. And also we can localize heart cooling. So that means that the patient would not have the shivering effect, which is very important too. And we also only the device that can also provide oxygen with this. So this is what the system look like. For the interest of time, I'm just going to pass this, but that's the thing. The bottom part and also the one on the very left, that is a disposable product. Those are the one, obviously it's look better than this. That is the one that will make money. That's a business model. We have filed already 10 patents. We have 7 granted. Most of them is in the US. We have 2 in Europe. Actually, the one in Europe, we just have the claim allowance. So we're going to convert into issue patents right away. So we actually have 2 more patents families that one is already filed, another one is in preparation process as we advance our technology. I have the privilege to share my experience about patents management at the CEO Club at the stock market last month. We have very good data. We show that our device can reduce the heart muscle death in animal. We presented at Boston TCT conference, which is a major conference in United States. Right now we prepare for our first in human, which we're going to be doing in US. We have already identified some good partners. And last slide, and our next step is that we're going to actually recruit the NirvaMed team in Thailand to do research. We are building a research capability here with Salaya Mahidol University. And we actually right now are raising Series A3, which is for $3 million, and we have already right now $1 million. So we're still looking for two more. And C-Rad is also one of our investors. Thank you.
So, can you explain who are your customers? Are you building it so that you can sell to medical device companies?
The buying customer, well, obviously the customer is the interventional cardiologist, the one who makes decision to use our device to the heart attack patient, right? And the patient would not be the one who received our device, but not the one to make decision. But the real person who have like buying power is actually hospital. So, I mean, when we get to that stage, we have to also work with hospitals, like to understand, like, when they're going to adopt new technology. The other thing is very important too. You may not ask these questions, but critical adoption is very important for medical device, new medical device, right? So we know we have to work very closely with like a top KOL, key opinion leaders, and that's why we partner with Bard, Stone, all these big names, because we know we have to impact the guideline. So even from now that we still haven't done first in human yet, but we talk with them, we want to understand their requirement, what it takes to change the guideline, and also reimbursement.
So you're raising the money to further develop your prototypes or to have a production floor? Or?
So Minnesota, like I said, is a very mature ecosystem there. So even when, our catheter, for example, we didn't build in-house. So we have partners that can do from like pre-quality system and after, with the quality system. So so this is pretty common for us. Right now we plan to not really move, but we plan to establish research capacity in Thailand, but because we're still in research phase, right? But when we get to the product development phase, especially after first in human, which is going to be commercial product, at that point, I think the main activity will be more in the US, which we already have the presence there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, is this used for, in which process does your product comes in? So during the operations itself, together, or post?
Sure. As the quick answer is both. So right now, the workflow is that the patient have heart attack, chest pain. They come to the hospital, and then they rush into the cath lab. The cath lab is, by the way, it's not operation. Doesn't mean that you hack something open.
So interventionist, right?
Correct. That is correct. So, so the patient will get in the stent right away. So we know that from the basic research that if you actually have let the blood flow back, put the stent on and then cool later, it will not do anything. So our device have to be inserted in between. And this is the most difficult part of our project because we're going to go against the guideline, and the measure is called door to balloon time, which is very circuit, right? So that's the most uphill battle that we have to go through. Thanks.
So for trial, you pass animal, you're going into human. How many trials? 3? So
what do you mean by how many?
How many trials do you have to go through until approval?
The bad news is it's going to be a lot because heart attack with high risk device like this. If in traditional way, when we look at clinical trials, we say it's a first in man, right? And then it's pilot trials, which is, to me, is another first in man, but with the first in man, we use test device. We don't use, this is not commercial, right? After first in man, if it's successful, we get a lot more details of design input. Then we actually redo the whole thing, but look fast. Well, not super sexy, but much better. And then that's when we go back. That's what they call pilot trial, right? But to me, the first in man, but commercial device. And then until you feel confidence enough that you feel like you can now start with the pivotal trials. Pivotal trials mean the trial that you get approval. And usually a lot of time is referred to class 3 device, what they call PMA in the US, meaning that, so to answer your questions, maybe rather than how many trials, it's more like how many patients. From look at our competitors in our previous project like this, I would say that the estimate should be between 300 to 500 patients. I have to say that that's quite a lot for medical device. For some pharmaceutical, that's simple, right? But for medical device, that's quite a lot. Thanks.
If you release the catheters into the market and compare with your competitor, how much expensive or how less expensive is it going to be?
The quick answer first on the pricing. So we price our device at $5,000 per set, and the basic cooling device, which is total body, and that was like 10 years ago. I know it's like $2,000. So right now I wouldn't be surprised at $3,000. But the other one of our competitors, which is not cooling but go to the same patient for the same target, is a super oxygenation called Therox. So they price the device at $7,000 per set. So we think that our pricing is just defensible. And like you know, like the mainly is just to understand if the market is sustainable or not that we could get in, right?